Oh my God, you guys, I survived that drive. I cannot wait to tell you about this CX-90. Let's get going. Hey guys, I am here today with this. This is the 2024 Mazda CX-90. Let's get into it. So the CX-90 comes in an inline six and a plug-in hybrid option. I've driven both of them today, and here's what I think. So here's the thing. The drive out here to Sonoma County was treacherous. It was kind of terrible, but that is great for you. So let me tell you why. Like all other Mazda vehicles, the CX-90 is all-wheel drive. And I gotta say, I was really thankful for that when I was driving through, I don't know if you can see these conditions, where I was driving through a foot of water where the road had completely washed out. But also we've had so much rain here in Northern California that, you know, I would go around a corner and just go through enormous puddles when I was driving like maybe 55 miles per hour. And so I felt like the vehicle was strong, it was solid, it had me, right? And so it allowed me to drive with confidence. Did I drive differently than I would have? No, but I drove like I would my normal SUV, right? Even in a car that I had only been driving for maybe 20 minutes, a car that I wasn't familiar with. And that, to me, says a lot about this vehicle. It was very intuitive, really solid, and had me in a really torrential conditions. So that made me love the CX-90. I will say that when it comes to the drivetrain, I really preferred the 3.3 Turbo S over the plug-in hybrid. I just felt like the plug-in hybrid wasn't really as responsive as I would have liked it to be, where the turbo was flawless. Additionally, on this platform, it's got a double wishbone suspension, which creates a bit more camber during cornering, and also can be tuned for better ride quality, which is great. And it's got a multi-link rear suspension that improves the rear grip. Thanks to the vehicle's kinematic posture control, you know, it's something that adds a little bit of brake force to the inside rear wheel when you're going around corners, and that really created additional stability when the vehicle was cornering, and I really appreciated that when I was driving through these windy roads in the rain. So the turbo engine is putting out 280 horsepower and 332 foot-pound of torque, and then the Turbo S engine is putting out 340 horsepower and 369 foot-pound of torque. They're reminding us that that's if you use premium fuel, and if you use regular fuel, you're going to get only 319 horsepower, which is interesting. One thing I really liked about this vehicle was the powertrain layout. So it's a rear biased all-wheel drive with a front engine, and the way that realizes itself in this vehicle is actually to make it really nimble for a vehicle of that size, and the rear bias gives you a little bit of performance feeling, and then the all-wheel drives makes it so that it actually is responsive as you want it to be. Boy, that was really impressive. And also there's an increased space in the wheel wells, and that's allowing for an additional steering angle. Even though it's got a longer wheelbase, the CX-90 actually has a tighter turning radius than the CX-9, and I actually could really feel that. So also think about if you need to tow something, the towing rating on the turbo engine is 5,000 pounds. With a plug-in hybrid, it's 3,500 pounds. Okay, so the interior of the CX-90 is quite beautiful. All of the touch points are really elegant, but the thing that I'm most excited about is this seat. Okay, so what makes this seat so special? I think it's a few things. Number one, the lumbar support is really consistent and fantastic. And number two, and this cannot be underestimated enough, the headrest is really in the right position. Even in my BMW, like the headrest is way back here and it doesn't go forward. I noticed Mercedes suffers from the same disease. It has really nice bolsters here. They're not dynamic, but like usually that's pretty expensive upcharge. I'm 5'6", so if you are within my range, and the average woman is 5 feet 4 inches tall, so a lot of you are, you're gonna find this seat as comfortable as I do. I have to say, I drove this car this morning for 2.5 hours, something like that, and I almost didn't want to get out of the car. I was so comfortable. I think it's an extraordinary seat, and I think a lot of you will be really happy with it. Okay guys, here I am in the back seat. They've got it adjusted right now so that it's coming forward a little bit, and I'm not finding that comfortable at all. So it's adjustable, right? That is if you have to sit in the back seat. Listen, so this is set to fit me. So as I said, I'm 5'6". So if like the driver you have is 5'6", this is the kind of leg room you're gonna get, which is fine. It's nice for a back seat. We've got, this trim has seat coolers and seat warmers, which is really nice. Here in the back seat, we've got 2 cup holders on the door. One is tall for a bottle, which is great. And then there's a third storage container. You've got a seat back pocket here. And then you've got 2 cup holders in the center armrest, a storage compartment probably for phones. And then the armrest itself opens up to have a deeper storage compartment, which is, you know, enough to certainly put like a lunch pail in or something like that. This is a lunch pail, I don't know, but you know what I'm talking about. And then these obviously are captain's chairs. I believe this center console is also removable, which is great. There's another storage container here. This slides open. And then I've got 2 lightning chargers here, which is great. It's a comfortable back seat. I would be happy back here, you know, traveling as a passenger. The sunroof certainly helps, but also these seats, like the front seats, are really comfortable. Okay guys, here I am in the way back of the CX-90. Again, even the third row seats are comfortable. Okay, that is really, really great. Is it spacious back here? I mean, kind of. I like the integrated armrest. That's just something that I think is good. You can't put 3 people back here. Just know that right now. The third row seatbelt is very accessible because it's comes from up high, so it doesn't get stuck. You know, whenever you put the seats down, like it gets stuck and then you'll never find it again. So they mounted it up here, and then it's got a little slip that you put it through here on the side of the vehicle, so you'll never lose your seatbelt again. That's fantastic. In this light colored interior, it feels really spacious back here. This is a weird thing to say, but sometimes when I'm in the third row or put a kid in the third row of a press vehicle, I feel like they're kind of vulnerable back there, like maybe it's not that safe. With the placement of the pillars back here, I do feel like it's safe. And actually, after talking to the safety expert, Jennifer Morrison, I feel a little bit more confident about putting someone in the third row back here. I think this is a good third row. There are cup holders here on the armrest. There's a charging cable back here. In terms of vents, they're right here by your knee, which again, I don't think is the best place to have vents, but whatever. I guess that's the only flaw I can find. Also, you cannot control the heat and AC back here. If we're honest with ourselves, 3-row SUVs can be kind of ugly, but not this CX-90. I think it looks great. What do you guys think of this design? I think it's quite lovely. Let me know what you think in the comments. If I were looking for flaws in this vehicle, I would point a little bit to the tires. I would prefer all-weather tires instead of all-season tires. I drove on some wet roads today, and while I was really impressed with the way that the CX-90 handled, I could tell by the type of traction that I was getting that I could have benefited from a better tire, but that is me looking for issues. And so if you are getting this in a cold climate, you might consider upgrading to an all-weather tire instead of an all-season. Pricing on the CX-90 starts at $39,595, and it tops out in the 3.3 Turbo S, which in the Premium Plus package is $59,950. But I'll tell you, I drove that Turbo S, and for a 3-seater SUV, man, you get a lot for the mid-50s. That is a fantastic car. So when we talk about trims, the CX-90 comes in a total of 11 trims and 3 powertrain options. And I know this gets to be a little bit baffling, but it's pretty simple if you think about it this way. The base is a 3.3 turbocharged engine, and the mid is the plug-in hybrid, and then the high end is the 3.3 Turbo S. And then they all come in sort of select, preferred, premium, blah, 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 blah. And on top of that, you might have to pay extra for premium paint colors. I know, it all gets really complicated, but when it comes down to it, it's going to be about what your dealer has, because so few of us order vehicles, right? But if I could steer you in one direction, it would be towards that 3.3 Turbo S, because in my opinion, that is an exceptional drivetrain and really responsive. And of course, no coincidence, the most expensive. All right, well, that was an amazing drive through Sonoma County, and I'm really delighted with the way that this thing handles. Never once did I feel like I was driving a 3-row SUV. Never once did I feel like I was driving a mom car, and never once did I feel like my visibility was compromised, and that is saying something.